So my 4th grade teacher graduated from high school with my dad. My 5th grade teacher graduated from high school with my mom. My 6th grade teacher graduated from high school with my sister. My 5th grade teacher was at my church, so I had a true community school. So I couldn't. There was no room for making any type of errors, and the expectation in my household, there were no C's to be brought in the household. Period.
It starts at home.
Period. But what I'm saying is, what I was saying was that it was family and it was community. Is what I'm saying.
Well, if you don't have a family.
I agree that it has to start with community, and I agree that it has to start with organizations like this. And, you know,
she also said something much more vital. I believe that you said something to the effect that we've got to help other people in the community. Because we all know here, when I started substituting here almost 20 years ago and working in schools, I used to be just as critical as this young lady right here about parents, because of the way the family that I had. Even when my parents broke up when I was 8 years old, they were still both there and saw to it that my sister and I got our education. I got to go out to Belgrade, and I saw what it means not to have a family. And we have a lot of that we're suffering from in our community. And if we're not willing to do what she's talking about, then we may as well forget about it. If you follow, I'm going to the extreme. But at the end of the day, if we don't step up and help build this community that's a wreck, okay, because you probably you seem to have come from a very good upbringing, and that's what it's all about. If any child does not have that home upbringing, that home support system, or that village that we all used to talk about, it's not happening for them, whether they're black, white, purple, or whatever. Okay, so that's the plan. If you're really going to start on that, that's where you have to start.
And I agree, because one of the things I always say in that respect is, what happens to the kid whose father's in jail and mother's on crack? You can't say it has to start at home, because there is no home for the child, and that's where the teacher has to step in. Now, when we look at the school system, I'm a very involved parent. My child has 2 very involved parents. She started 2nd grade this year, reading on the 4th grade level. When she was tested at the end of her year, she had regressed. How do you stop reading at a higher level and move backwards? So when we talk to the teacher, we find out that the teacher is gone half the year. She's gone for half the year, but yet she comes back that very next school year to the same job, and she gets paid while she's out. And my daughter says the substitute teacher that comes in is rude, nasty, and says, I'm gonna miss some when she leaves. I'm gonna miss you guys. Well, I'm gonna miss some of you guys, not all of them. So when you talk about this is her word. So when you talk about the education system, we tend to talk about teachers and the gap. Benjamin Academy employs teachers, right? You have all these charter schools, these private schools that employ teachers. Why do they have 100% rate of kids going to college, but yet Palm Beach County's public school system has an abysmal amount of kids that can read? Where's the difference? Because they have the same job. Where's the gap? So when it comes to charter schools, personally, I'm a fan of them. Why am I a fan of them? Because as sad as selfish and self-serving as it may sound, I'm first concerned about my child. I'm first concerned about my child, and everyone else has to be concerned about theirs. I'll chip in the community and help and everything else, but I got to make sure my child. I got to make sure my child is successful. And until something can be done to fix the flawed system, I'm going to opt out.
I got an opinion. I want to pull it.
Wait, let's go to Patrice. No, okay, Patrice. Sorry, hold on.
Go. Okay.
Patrice and then Courtney. Sorry.
I just want to reinforce like my beliefs. I truly think it starts from the home. My mom, she's a cosmetologist, and you know, my aunts, they went to college and things like that. But my little brother, and I'm proud to say he just passed the FCAT with the flying colors. But it started from home. It started from him going to FCAT academies. It started from her making sure that he studied different subject areas. It started from her being in constant contact with all 6 of his teachers and reinforcing that failure is not an option. So I truly believe it starts from home. And as parents, we have to be involved with the teachers. Like, you should have, I mean, not to say anything negative towards you, but I just feel like you should have been in contact with that teacher more often to know, oh, well, she's not in school. What's really going on? Maybe I need to switch my child's class out or something like that. Not saying anything against you, but I'm just saying it starts from
I
home.
agree with you. The trouble is that we did do that. And what the teacher told us was that there was not a whole lot they can do, because why? It was time to start studying for FCATs. When my daughter comes home and she doesn't know the difference between a state, a continent, and a city, and I have to teach her that because the school is teaching FCAT, I have a problem with that. I have a problem when she's learning such a small sliver of what's important, because what's important to the school is how much money they can get in the state.
I agree too. But even so, at a young age, since I can recall, my aunt, she's a teacher. I have an aunt that's a teacher. She teaches my little cousins all throughout the family. That's some of that stuff she teaches them at home. So when they go to school, they know it. They know their ABCs. They know their states. They know their continents. So I'm a firm believer it starts from home.
So it's starting from
Oh,
home.
hold on. Let me tell you something, all right? Your new president is looking at me like,
I love you all, and I like the activity, but it's 8:15, and I know you good people want to get to your families.
she's looking at me, so I'm gonna take it as long as you want. So, Courtney.
One more thing, I understand.
You don't want to start it, man.
Hold on. Let's
I'm sorry, Courtney. I understand that there's broken families and, there's kids that are not fortunate enough to have it start from home. But as a community, that's where we need to step in and kind of help those kids that are less fortunate. And I'm done.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Organize that.
I was going to say that you can't really. My mother's a teacher. She's been a teacher for over 30 years. So in one sense, yes, it does. You do have teachers who aren't doing their jobs, but you can't put all the blame on the teacher, and you can't put all the blame on the community either. There has to be a happy medium. You won't always have parents who are involved in their in their children. You might have the crackhead mother and the father who's in prison. So it is important that we have organizations like Urban League who step in and fill the gap. But I think it's unfair to say that it doesn't necessarily start at home. It may not be able to start at home. And you do have teachers who do their job, who are exceptional teachers. But just like in any field, you have great lawyers, you have bad lawyers, you have lazy lawyers, you have ones who are more proactive. So I think that there needs to be a happy medium.
But I can choose.
Hold on, wait. Hold on, I'm gonna come back to you, and then I didn't get your name, so you came in late.
I'm Victor. My job ended at 6:30.
Sorry. Thanks, man. Go ahead.
My industry is very different. My question when we talk about education, I think it's great that we talk about how important it is to have great families at home and you want good teachers. But if I'm great at my job and I know I'm good at my job, I'm going to go where I can make the most money. So I'll go and work for a charter school, I'll go work for a private school, I'll go and be a tutor for a wealthy family if I'm not going to be paid like a professional in public schools, because I have student loans just like the teacher at the charter school. I mean, speaking of the teacher. Two questions out of that. Someone back here said it. Is there any real movement to get rid of standardized testing? And second, is there any thought, way out of the box, we privatize prisons, is there any movement or thought to privatize public schools? And companies get profits based on the performance of its students. The education is still free for the children, but the schools are run by private companies, and then they make incentives and bonuses based on the performance of the children.
No dodging, man. No dodging, man.
There's privatization with SES. That's a big competitive. All right, in regards to the FCAT, I'm actually one of those Democrats who do believe that we should have the FCAT.
That we should?
We should.
But
Here's the reason why. Here, it's some form of measurement.
Okay.
Because, you know what? I can have my kids at Pine Grove Elementary School, and they're in the 5th grade, and the principal may decide that the math that they're taking